October is National Apple Month, and nothing takes the chill out of the autumn air like a warm apple dumpling coming fresh out of the oven. Today, I'm going to show you how to make some old-fashioned apple dumplings using some new-fashioned, time-saving tricks. Let's get started. I'm going to show you how to make apple dumplings using boxed pie pastry today. The reason? A few years back, my son came to me and asked me to make 40 apple dumplings for a fraternity party in October. I just had to find an easier alternative to homemade pie crusts. All I did was take them out of the box and roll them out, one at a time. On top of the pie crust, I'm going to put about a tablespoon and a half of cinnamon chips. And I'm just going to layer them about, I don't know, a 2.5-inch circle here. Then I'm going to top those with a teaspoon of chopped and lightly toasted pecans. I've peeled and cored an apple. I'm using Granny Smith's. You can kind of use any kind of baking apple, Cortland's, wine saps. I don't recommend Red Delicious. They really don't bake well. Macintosh is another alternative. What I'm going to do with this apple, I'm going to hold it right over the bed of the cinnamon chips and the crust, and I am going to sprinkle it with cinnamon sugar, the bottled stuff we used to put on our French toast in the morning. And I'm just going to seat this apple right on top of the bed of cinnamon chips. I'm just going to wipe my hands off here a second. Cinnamon kind of gets all over the place. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the center or the core. I'm going to fill it about 1/3 of the way with some more cinnamon chips, and then a second third of the way with some more lightly toasted pecans, and almost to the top with a few more cinnamon chips. I'm going to push down on that, and I want that to be about 1/4 inch from the top of the apple, and I'm going to put a teaspoon of butter in the top, and I'm just going to push that down. And then I'm going to wipe my hands off. Wrapping these couldn't be any easier. Take the side closest to you, pull it up over the top. The side farthest away from you, and you bring it back. And then you just gently fold it together, and you want to form a little packet kind of that looks just like this. It's like making a little envelope. You pull your left or your right side. I'm left-handed, so I'll start with the left side. Over the top, press it down a little. Right side, over the top, press it down a little. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place this in a shallow 4-inch ramekin, but you can put 4 of these in an 8 by 8-inch baking dish. Technically, these are ready for some egg wash and the oven, but I like to fancy them up a bit. Now I'm going to show you my next trick with some pastry leaves. Like I said before, these apple dumplings are technically ready for the oven, but I like to fancy them up. I take 1 more pie pastry, and I like to make some pastry leaves. Wait till you see how easy this is. I just, using a paring knife, cut freeform some leaves in the top of a pastry crust. I'll just do 3 here quickly for the camera. And then what I do is I just lift all of the excess pastry up from around these leaves. When the pastry's up, I'm going to roll this into a little ball. When the pastry's up, I take the blunt edge or the back side of my knife, and I just make some little marks or indentations in the leaves. You don't want to cut through the pastry that resemble the veins of a leaf. Now, how easy is that? And it looks like a pastry chef did it. Just going to move this to the side. Now I'm going to take my first apple dumpling, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to brush it with an egg wash. And an egg wash is 1 large egg that's been beaten with a fork with about 2 tablespoons of water. Some people use milk, but I tend to think that milk toughens the crust a little bit, so I stick with the water. And I'm going to brush this all over. Don't worry if it drips down into your baking dish or your ramekin. It does not matter. I want to really make sure I get into all the nooks and crannies, because this is the glue that's going to keep your apple dumplings from opening up while they bake. Oh, that looks just wonderful. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to, at random, pick 4 of my leaves, and I'm just going to put them on, kind of like cut and paste onto the top of this apple dumpling. So they're on there, pretty. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to brush my leaves with some more of this egg wash, which is going to give them a pretty shine after they're going to be really golden and shiny when they come out. Then I'm going to take just a little plug of this extra dough that we had, and I'm going to roll it in my hands and kind of make a nice little, it just kind of look like a little stem that goes on the top of our apple. Give that a little brush too with some of our egg wash. And to finish it, a sprinkling of cinnamon sugar. I'm not going to tilt or turn this. I don't need to coat the 4 sides. The first one's done. Now I'm going to finish up the next 3 apple dumplings, and I'm going to bake them in a 350-degree oven for 35 minutes, and then it's time to eat. My grandmother served her apple dumplings drizzled with a warm sauce made from apple juice, brown sugar, and butter. On the other hand, my mom likes to serve hers topped with vanilla ice cream, caramel sauce, and toasted pecans. Me, I like to eat mine for breakfast. I reheat them in the microwave, I just crack open the top, and I just pour a little bit of warmed cream over the top. For these and all of my recipes, just go to my website.